boys and girls. I was looking at my little fish bowl, checking on my fish, and it reminded me, I have a nice story to share with you. The title of the book is Not Norman, a Goldfish Story. The author is Kelly Bennett, and the illustrator is Noah Jones. When I got Norman, I didn't want to keep him. I wanted a different kind of pet, not Norman. I wanted a pet who could run and catch, or one who could climb trees and chase strings. A soft furry pet to sleep on my bed at night. Not Norman. All Norman does is swim around and 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 around. The next day, I take Norman to school with me. If I talk him up real good during show and tell, maybe somebody will want him. On the way there, we see my friend Austin. Austin has a really cool dog and 7 puppies. Want to swap one of your puppies for Norman? I ask. Who's Norman? Asks Austin. My goldfish, I say. By the time I rescue Norman, half his water is gone. I'm sorry, I tell Norman when we get to school. I'm really sorry. He just stares at me all googly-eyed. Finally, it's my turn for show and tell. Just as I start to talk about Goldfish, Emily shouts, "Jenny's gone! Who let loose my snake?" Does anyone hear the story of how I got Norman? Does anyone even ask to hold the bowl? No. They're all jumping and screaming and chasing the snake. Not Norman. He's looking right at me. Thanks for listening, Norman. That afternoon, we go to my music lesson. As soon as it's over, I'm taking Norman back to the pet store. I take out my tuba and begin to play. I glance over at Norman. He's swaying back and forth. Glug, 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 he mouths. Look, Norman's singing, I say. Pay attention, snaps Maestro, and try to play the proper notes. Maestro makes me stay for extra practice. By the time my lesson is over, it's too late to go to the pet store. Don't think that just because you like my music, I'm going to keep you, I tell Norman. He glugs. That night, I'm sound asleep when screech, scratch. What's that noise? Scratch, screech, screech. Yikes, there's something at my window. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spot Norman. He isn't scared. He isn't swimming around in circles either. He glugs and he gives me a little wave. I'm not alone. Together, Norman and I slide open the curtains. It was just a broken tree branch. Thanks for watching out for me, Norman. On Saturday, I take Norman to the pet store, just like I said I would. I look at the cats and dogs and snakes and birds. I look at the hamsters and mice and lizards too. They all look like good pets, but they are not Norman. When I got Norman, I wasn't sure I wanted to keep him. But now, even if I could pick any pet in the whole world, I wouldn't trade him. Not Norman. He's one amazing fish. And that's our story for today. Not Norman. I guess it reminds us that we need to give everybody and everything a chance. And maybe after a while, we learn to appreciate and like that thing or that person. So if you can go get a blank sheet of paper and a pencil and join me, we're going to make a drawing of our own goldfish inside a bowl. Okay, so I hope you have your piece of paper and a pencil. I will be using a Sharpie so that you can see it better. We're going to start with our fish bowl. And what we're going to do is we're going to make almost a circle, almost a full circle on the page, and you'll see. I'll start up on the top, I'll come down, I'll come back up, but I'm going to stop right about there. And because our fishbowl has an opening, what we're going to do is we're going to connect these two sides. So from this side, the left to the right, we're going to make kind of a smile like this. And then do the same thing on the top. Have a smile and come back around, and that's our opening. And there you have is our fishbowl. Now we know a fishbowl is filled with water. So up towards the top, we can make a squiggly line to show that our fish are living in the water. Now we need to make some fish, and very simply, we're going to make something that maybe looks like an oval, like almost like an egg, but again, we're not going to close it up at the end. We're going to leave it open a little bit, and then we're going to give him a tail fin. So we're kind of going to go loop one, loop out, and a second loop, and there we have it. We'll go back to his head. We'll give him an eye and a smile. And a little detail here, we're going to draw a line from top to bottom like that. And then we need to give him one more fin. This one you can think of maybe as like a short fat letter C, and then we're going to make those two kind of little loops again, and there we have it. And so what you can do is add maybe another one or two other fish. So the same idea, make almost the whole oval, and then give your fish a tail, an eye, and a mouth, a little feature from top to bottom, and a fin. And this way we will make our short fat C kind of backwards with these two little loops. Okay, and sometimes you'll see in fish tanks, you may see some rocks at the bottom. You know, rocks are just little pebbles. You can make them bigger or smaller. And And I'm going to add one other feature here. Sometimes you see some plants living in the water. So we're just going to make kind of a loop up like this. And then maybe another loop up like this. And the last thing we will add is, sometimes you will see some air bubbles coming from the fish. And there we have it. We have our two fish in our fish bowl.